Okay, so this is a tutorial in Photoshop on how to make a transparent background so you can actually pull this image on top of something else and not have all this white space around here. Now, to do this, the first thing you want to do is you want to make a copy of this layer. So to do that, you can hit Control J or Apple J on a Mac, or you can come up here to Layer and Duplicate Layer. So now that I have my second layer, I'd like to go ahead and just turn off the eyeball on the background layer. That means we're not going to be seeing the background layer. So there's several ways to do anything you want to do in Photoshop. There's a ton of different ways to do the same thing. Now, I like using the magic wand tool. This works well if you have a solid color. You can just click that color and it will select everything in that color. Or you can click this little black arrow underneath the magic wand tool here, and you can click quick selection and you can select certain areas at a time. Now anytime that you want to deselect in Photoshop, all you have to do is hit Control D or Apple D on a Mac. But I like the magic wand, so I'm going to go back to the magic wand and I am going to select all the white space here. And then once you have it selected, all you have to do is hit backspace if you're on a PC, or the big delete key on a Mac. Now, as you can see, we deleted everything even inside the eyeball here. I really didn't want that deleted, so we're going to go back and fix that. So I'm going to hit Control D to deselect. And if you see this little brush here that's got the little swirl around it, this is your art history brush. We don't want it. What we want is beneath it, so you click this little black arrow and click the history brush tool. And you can see this comes up with this little circle here. So you can actually enlarge this circle and make it larger and smaller by using the your bracket keys up here to make it larger or smaller. Now you want to make sure that your white is your foreground color. Generally your black is going to be your foreground color. So you're just going to go to this little arrow and hit switch. And then you can just come over here and start painting back in wherever you want that to be back. Whatever you had there originally will start coming back. In this case it's white, but that's not because we have the white selected. That's just because this was what was there to begin with. If it was some other color, it would be coming up that color. So I'm going to go back and paint back in what I want. So now we have that painted back in. If you see these small little areas where you need more detail, you can zoom in. You can hit Control and hold down the Control key and hit the plus at the same time, or that would be Apple plus on a Mac. Or to zoom out, it would be Control minus or Apple minus on a Mac. But now we have this color back in like I like it. So what I want to do is I want to save this file now. So when you go to save it, if you're wanting a transparent, you always save it as a PSD. What this will do is keep your layers. If you don't save it as a PSD, it's going to flatten your layers and you'll have that white background back again. So I'm going to save this as a PSD just to my desktop here. I'm going to hit save. Okay. And now we have it saved. So we can open up, just to show you how this would work, I'm going to open up a new canvas, and I'm going to click OK. And I've got a new canvas. I'm just going to put background color here so you can see what it's going to do once we do this. Whoops. So I'm going to use a red background. And anytime, a lot of times these here will be connected and you can't see them both at the same time. So you can just click one and drag it down and that will pull out a pop-up menu. So you go back to your original image that you want to use as a transparent background. And what you want to do is pick your black arrow tool. If you don't have your black arrow tool, it's not going to work. So click your black arrow tool and make sure that your top layer over here is selected. And then you just grab your image and pull it over here onto your other palette. And as you can see, that pulled over here, and now we have it on a red background and you don't have all that white space around it. So that's it for making a transparent background in Adobe Photoshop.